Welcome, everyone. It is Kentucky Sports Radio Tuesday, June the 10th. I'm Matt Jones here in studio in Lexington. You can give us a shout on Clark's Puppet Shop phone line, 859-280-2287. We're not open yet, but we will. The A-Vision Auto Glass text machine is 772-774-5254. And this edition sponsored by the TJ Smith Law Office. You call TJ, he'll make them pay. I don't think it's a real secret what today's show is going to be about. It is a
Murray State baseball.
I will mention that because it was exciting, but not yet. We have to talk about the news. Vince Marrow. At this point, Vince Marrow is leaving Kentucky to become the general manager of Louisville football in a move that is one of the more. It's not shocking, but it's one of the more surprising moves that I can remember in Kentucky athletics. It is going to be one that will have ramifications for everybody for a long time, for Kentucky football, for Louisville football, for Vince. And, it is – look, this is one of those you just say, okay, we can talk about this the whole show. I got all these topics. We're not going to get to any of them. It's going to be this, and then I'm going to give a shout-out to Murray State. That's the thing. But Ryan Lemon is here. Shannon the Dude is here. Guys, I was about to go to dinner. I had a friend in town from the fellowship I'm in from Miami.
Oh, really?
And we were going to go to dinner last night, and I was going to leave my phone at home. I thought, this dude's here from Miami, Shannon.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take my phone out.
Nothing's happening. It's June.
Nothing's going to happen.
It's
June.
in June.
What are we going to do? It's June. I've already talked to my mom earlier today. She knows I'm okay. I'm just going to go ahead and then 15 minutes before I leave to walk out the door, this happens. And so I have to spend the dinner going, hey, man, I'm sorry. I got to deal with it. So here's my reaction, and then I'll go to you guys. My reaction was I'm not shocked he's leaving. I'm very surprised he's going to Louisville now, okay? If you had told me in December, I actually thought at the end of the year he was going to go somewhere. I didn't think he'd come back for another year. Then I thought Louisville was a real possibility, and I kind of had prepared myself at the beginning of December that he would go to Louisville. You remember, of course, our interview, which Shannon had a clip of at the Pizza Ranch in wherever that was.
Iowa City.
I remember it
like it was yesterday.
Terrible interview by him at the
room.
time. Terrible interview.
Yeah, it was.
But he ends up staying, and so I am surprised this happens in June. He goes to Louisville. I'm going to look at it from like three different angles. First of all, the angle for UK football. It's a big loss. It's a loss in terms of recruiting, although it would have been a worse loss 3 or 4 years ago pre-NIL.
Yes.
Because NIL does do a little bit of what he used to do. I still think he matters, but like it used to be, if he had left, there wouldn't be a roster. I don't think that's true anymore, but it does matter. But it matters even more from a perception standpoint, right? I mean, this was in some ways, the face of your program. Mark Stoops, I guess, is the face, but if he's one, Vince is 1A, right? In my opinion, the most beloved assistant UK coach ever.
Ever.
Any sport?
Period. I don't think there's even a debate.
Maybe Joe B. when he was an assistant.
Maybe Joe B. That's a good one. When he was
I don't
assistant.
know. Maybe Leonard Hamilton for a little while.
But Vince, by far, most beloved assistant
Certainly
football
since I've been
coach.
Doing it.
Yeah.
Certainly since I've been doing it, most beloved assistant coach. And he leaves his friend. And the symbolic nature of that you can't underestimate. So that's number one. Number two is for the Kentucky-Louisville dynamic. There's the rivalry. Louisville gets the guy who took in-state recruiting from Louisville. He and John Summerall took in-state recruiting from Louisville. Louisville had it for a period of time.
Yep.
Kentucky took it back. And not only did Kentucky take back the state, they took Louisville. I mean, we had 6 or 8 years where we were getting the best players from Louisville. And now they take him back. I don't know what effect it'll have on the state as a whole, but it probably shuts the door on the city of Louisville. Would you agree with that?
I would think it probably does.
I don't know about the rest of the state. We'll have to see.
They should lock up Louisville now.
Louisville's locked up now. And I think some of these places where we were really getting a bunch of guys like North Hardin and stuff like that, that starts to become a little tricky. Third, Vince. I mean, I've known him a long time. Consider him a good friend. I don't really understand what Vince is doing. I don't. I don't get it. Just on a personal level, I don't really get it. You know, I know he really likes Jeff Brom. So that part makes sense to me. And I know he was very frustrated the last couple years here. And that part gets me. But that dude had a job here for life if he wanted it.
Oh, yes.
If Mark Stoops got fired, they would have kept Vince Marrow.
Somehow. They're going to find a way.
Kentucky's biggest donor is maybe his best friend.
That's very true.
The athletic director really likes Vince. He married the president's personal assistant. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
pretty deep roots in the UK.
I mean, pretty deep roots in the University of Kentucky world. And then you leave to go down the street to the rival. You can't undo that. Like that's done now. Like he'll never, ever be looked at the same way again here. Rick Pitino, it took 20 years for us to even put him back in the building, and he took a break between the two schools.
Yeah.
Right.
Vince went directly there. And as Rick Pitino would tell you, it can be really good at Louisville. It can. They have a lot of ways to make life really good. But it's not the same as it is here. They care, but they don't care like we do. And ask Rick Pitino that. He's the only person that's experienced both.
True.
You can have it really good there, but it's not the same as owning the city of Lexington. You're one of a bunch of things in Louisville. You're the thing here. So I was surprised, Ryan. I think it's terrible for UK football. I don't really understand it for Vince. And one of the more surprising things we've seen happen since I've been doing this.
You know, I purposely didn't call you last night so we could have our conversation right now on the air.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, caught me completely off guard. I mean, this whole timing of this is just kind of blows my mind a little bit. He just had a huge recruiting weekend at Kentucky last weekend.
He offered a guy Sunday. I know, because I know the person's family. He offered a guy for Kentucky Sunday.
So you had this huge recruiting weekend for UK, make an offer, and then the next day you're going to leave? Did you leave your friend, the guy you've been with from day one here, and you're not just leaving, you're leaving to go to his rival? I mean, it completely changes the landscape of UK football. Completely right now.
Yeah, it does. And you have to wonder at some point, Shannon, okay, so what happened?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what everybody wants to know. What happened? First of all, what are your thoughts? And then I'm going to give you the timeline up to what I know, because I really don't know what's happened in the last 3 days. But go ahead.
Yeah. So December 2nd, Pizza Ranch, when we had him on, I think it all started there. You could tell something was off in his demeanor when he came on and did that interview.
I want you to pull that clip.
And I don't think
that you put.
I don't think he did himself any favor by doing that. But this
No,
feels like something that has been brewing for a long time, possibly going back to that. So 6-7 months ago.
It goes back before that.
And this
it goes back before
and,
that.
And this kind of honestly feels like a sinking ship at Kentucky when your number 2 guy, who is best friends with your head coach, leaves to go to your rival. I think there's big problems going on behind the scenes. But I have that clip if you want to play it here.
Yeah. Let me lead into the clip and then have you play.
Okay.
All right. So let's go back to the Stoops-Vince relationship. Great friends.
Yes.
I don't know if I would say best friends, but very good friends. Okay. Known each other forever. Relationship has always been one of friends, but friends who fight. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, kind of like brothers. You know, you have your disagreements, but then you make up.
But
kiss
they
and make
fight
up.
a little bit more than I think most. Like you and I are like brothers, and we've fought a couple times.
Yeah.
But we don't fight consistently.
No, then we kiss and make up and move on to the next one.
They fight a little more than that. Okay, and they always have. I got a story I'll tell later in the show. I'm going to finally tell the Michigan story.
Okay.
Just because I think we can now, right?
Why not?
But there was always a little bit of Vince didn't think he got enough credit. Mark thought Vince got too much publicity. Do you agree with that?
I think that's very fair.
I think that's always been the case.
Been fair.
Vince thought he didn't get enough credit.
Right.
Mark thought he got too much
Too much
publicity.
credit.
I think that it's just that masculine, like, thing, right?
Yeah.
I still think, though, it was a very good working relationship for a long time. And then a couple years ago, it felt like it really started to sour. It felt like, to me, a lot of the conversations that used to be kind of half laughing about each other became more serious. I think you got to point it back to about a year and a half or 2 years ago, Vince kind of got his authority as we will take who you want in recruiting, kind of got it taken away. Eddie Grand became, especially when it came to the portal, Eddie makes these decisions. It culminated in last year's class of transfers, which was mostly an Eddie class, was disappointing, some of them.
Yes.
Right? And then I think that led Vince to kind of say, okay, can we go back to, and then being told no. And this new class, I think, reflected Eddie's vision, the one we have coming in this year, even more than the last year's. And I think Vince saw his authority, or his authority may not be the word, but his kind of being the final dude on recruiting going away. And then a lot of Stoops' new assistants have done a lot of their own recruiting. Now, Nick Roush said that Vince was told he couldn't recruit Ohio anymore. I'm not saying that's wrong. I've never been told that. But that could be true. I don't know. That would seem like a bizarre decision.
He used to kill Ohio.
I mean, that used to be what he
was his backyard.
What are you going to have Vince do if he's not going to recruit Ohio?
That's
that's exactly what he does.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt to me that it had gotten to a bad point, to the point I thought he was going to leave. I didn't think he was going to go to Louisville, but I thought he was going to go to one of these other jobs. Michigan and Michigan State have always been one I thought might happen. And then Louisville came after him. He decided to stay. But, Shannon, to your point, I wonder if he kind of wished he had gone.
Yeah, at that
Because
moment.
when he decided to stay, I asked him to come on the show, and he did. And you remember, even before this clip we're going to play, he was kind of hemming and hawing a
Yes, he
little bit.
was.
And so then I asked him this.
Do you – I mean, I do think it's – I just wanted to make sure everybody's clear. You expect to be in Lexington next year?
Yes. Yep. Yes.
I mean,
Is that the most convincing answer ever?
That 2-second hesitation says everything to me
and
right
you
there.
called it at the time, I think,
said
didn't you?
something's wrong. I don't. Something's not on the up and up here. Yep.
That he was not the same in that interview.
No.
He just wasn't. He was not the same. And, then, to be honest with you, we got caught up in the Mark Pope stuff, right? December, January, February, I would see Vince and talk to him, but I really didn't talk to him about football because it was like I was excited about basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to Amsterdam, and I'll be honest with you, I hadn't talked with him. I actually thought to myself on Monday, I haven't talked to Vince in a long time.
I don't think I've talked to him since March Madness. We saw him up in Indianapolis.
That's the last time I think that's the last time
I've talked to him.
And so he'd even thought to myself, I'm going to have to catch up with him sometime. I didn't know it was going to be like this. But clearly it fell apart. The whole thing, though, about him doing the weekend, offering people and then leaving, makes me wonder, what went down on Sunday and Monday?
Exactly.
I mean, something had to have. I mean, it's June. It's not December.
It's weird timing. Stuff like this usually happens in January after the seasons are over and the bowl seasons are over. It happens early for assistant coaches.
So I have a really good Louisville source. So when I saw the Louisville report, because the Louisville report beat the Thamel report, I contacted that person and said, is this happening? And the person said to me, well, I thought it was going to happen in December, but I don't know anything about it now. And then it broke 20 minutes later.
Wow.
Which means I think this came together really quick.
Yeah.
Really. I think they've been courting him for a long time, but the decision to do it happened really quick.
Yeah, I think, though, it's been in the works for a long time, but why did all of a sudden it come to a head and happen after this major recruiting weekend?
Here's what I thought was going to happen. This is what I thought was going to happen. I thought Mark was going to coach this year. Either he was going to have success, and then I thought Vince would go somewhere else. Because Mark would have kind of had success his way with Eddie kind of in charge of recruiting.
Okay.
Or Vince was going to leave, Mark was going to get let go, and then Vince might ended up staying here with the next coach.
Would he even been considered for the head coach here?
No, I don't think so, which I think also was a frustration.
Yeah.
But I think he would have potentially had the role he's going to have at Louisville here with the next coach. But I thought they were going to play this year out and see what happened. And in the Mark Vince relationship, in 4 months, they might have a completely – they flipped all the time. Like they might have grown close again.
That's true.
You never know.
But you hit it on earlier. The perception of the UK football program now is bad. You consider that interview with Vince. They didn't make a bowl game. You lose Dane Barryon. Your starting quarterback retires from football.
That's a bad one.
You make a controversial move with your O-line coach. Now you lose Vince Marrow. I mean, all that.
It's bad.
It's bad.
There's nothing positive about it. No one can spin this as a good thing. Now, do I think it's like crippling like it would have been 4 or 5 years ago? Actually, no. Even though I love Vince, think he's very talented. It's a different recruiting world now. But there's no doubt it's a terrible thing. So I want to discuss more about it. We're going to open up the phones at 10:30. I want to hear what people say. Like, are people done with Vince? Like, is he like now persona non grata? What does this do for Stoops? It's wild. And we'll take a break. Barry Beck's KSR. So do we have to so we call him the little dog now, Shannon? That's what Drew. If Drew was here, Drew certainly would.
He did. We had somebody call him the dirty dog.
The dirty dog.
Yeah, he's the dirty dog now. He's the dirty dog.
Dirty dog.
I mean, we all going to like Vince, but we all want him to fail now, right?
Oh, I'm going to boo him every game. And I like him personally, but I am disappointed. I mean, I'm not gonna, he's my friend. I'm not going to hate the guy, but I'm not happy about it. And I think all these coaches make the same mistake. They think Rick did the same thing. They think people are going to follow him, and it ain't happening.
Nope,
there's
not in this situation.
There's not one person out there who's going to start cheering for Louisville now
because of Vince went there. No way.
You can love Vince. It ain't happening.
I got a bunch of questions. Can I ask him?
Yes.
Did the ruling on the House bill have any effect in the timing of the announcement?
That I don't know. I have no idea.
Like, I didn't know if they were waiting.
So I haven't really talked to him. I talked to him like I texted him when I heard the rumor. He just said something like, "What are you talking about?" And like just not like he was saying he did. Like my text really wasn't clear, and then the story broke. And I thought about asking him to come on here, but then I thought, well, what's that going to be like?
Yeah.
And the reality is he needs to do a Louisville show.
Should do a Louisville show today.
He should do a Louisville show
today.
It's not a good sign if your first show is a Kentucky show.
No.
He should do a Louisville show.
Because we're not going to be easy on him today.
I mean, like, again, he's their guy now.
Yes, he is.
Like, he's their guy now.
If you go to a Kentucky show, it makes it like you're still there at Kentucky. You're not at Kentucky anymore. You have to move on.
He's a Louisville guy now.
Yeah.
He threw L's down for years.
Now
he's L's up. Like, that's what you are now. Like, that's what you decided to be. I'm still your friend. Like, I'm still gonna, when I see you, give you hugs, talk. I love the guy, but you know what? You're him now. You're Perrin.
You're Perrin.
I still love Perrin,
but we ain't on the same team.
But you're Perrin at this point, right?
I bet Vince is listening though today.
I'm sure he is, and he knows that we all love him. But you decided to be on that other side.
We want you to fail now. We like you to go fail.
I want you to lose every game.
Yep.
And I want you to lose every game badly. And it could have been any other team. You could have gone to any other team, and I would have – they might have been my second favorite team. But you can't go to Louisville and you can't go to Tennessee. So you went to Louisville. I told him back in December or November, whenever it was, that this was kind of percolating. I said, if you go there, I will hope you lose every game. And I don't think you should for X, Y, and Z reason.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure he had friends telling him he should go. It's like, that's fine. But now you're a Louisville guy. And
you're a Louisville man. Remember that?
These colors don't run, right? I have friends who are awesome people. I would never vote for them because they just it's a different thing, what you think and what I think.
Yeah.
The sports equivalent of that is this. And it just is. And by the way, everyone listening thinks the same thing.
Sure.
No one's becoming a Louisville fan.
No.
So, enjoy Captain Suntan. Like, Captain Suntan now is the Louisville Jeff Ruby's going to be happy. Lexington Jeff Ruby's going to be sad.
It all goes to the same place, doesn't it?
That's true. Jeff Ruby's still happy either way.
The general manager at
The general
Louisville.
manager, though, now has to be like, what about our budget?
He's high-fiving people. I got some more questions.
Okay.
6 of the top 10 high school football players in Kentucky had already committed to Louisville.
Yeah. I don't think I feel Vince wouldn't have been like recruiting for Louisville. I don't think that would have.
Have they been telling these recruits Vince is coming?
I mean, they could have. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. But I know he was recruited. I know a person being recruited, and Vince was actively recruiting them to Kentucky this weekend. So, I don't know.
I'm sure those conversations have been going on, though.
I'm sure they have too.
And Vince has to play it straight. Like, he still has to continue to do his job, because if Vince just stopped recruiting, they'd be like, "What's up, man? Like, you just."
Well, some people did wonder. We have no official visit scheduled for people from Ohio.
Yeah.
I literally had on my book yesterday that one of the topics I wanted to talk about, and we didn't get to it because we had important things to talk about, like the zebra and the CMAs. But that, in hindsight, was a sign, Ryan. When we have no official visit scheduled for people from Ohio,
which used to be his backyard, where he used to kill it, bringing on kids from Ohio.
That was a sign, right? That was a sign.
Do you think the way they handled Wolford played any factor in Vince's frustration?
I don't think he and Wolford were like close, but I don't think that has anything to do with it. Here's one thing I will say for Mitch Barnhart, and to some extent Stoops too. They did everything they gave him anytime he wanted a raise, they gave it. He's the highest paid tight end coach in the country.
In the history of college football, probably.
Yeah. They did he wanted to do this. More power to him. But they did Mitch Barnhart did everything he could. Every time he asked for something, he got it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what else UK could have done.